credibility of the United States on intelligence is really low right now. If that intelligence is going to cause U.S. forces to die and bleed in combat, the U.S. to deploy military force, I'm going to be very skeptical of that intelligence. Very skeptical.
Welcome to Deconstructed. I'm Mehdi Hassan. It's a Middle Eastern country with lots of oil. The first three letters are I, R, and A, and America wants to bomb it. In 2003, it was Iraq. Today, it's Iran. The parallels are beyond eerie.
John Bolton and Mike Pompeo look a lot like the characters from the Bush administration, with Pompeo being the sycophant and Bolton being the leader.
That's my guest today, Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, who served as Chief of Staff to Colin Powell in the run-up to the Iraq invasion in 2003 and subsequently became a very vocal critic of that conflict and of the George W. Bush administration. So, on today's show, we'll discuss how close are we to a catastrophic conflict with Iran and what lessons can we all learn, politicians, the media, the public, from the 2003 Iraq war debacle. Is the Iranian how the Democrats are just not radical enough, the Democratic presidential candidates, that is, they're just not radical enough on foreign policy. They haven't shifted to the left on foreign policy in the same way that they have on domestic policy, on healthcare, on taxes, etc. Some of you actually wrote in, and we always appreciate listeners writing in. Some of you wrote in to say, well, how come I didn't mention Tulsi Gabbard, who is the representative from Hawaii, who is also running for president and will be on the debate stage next week, because she says she's very anti-regime change wars. And she is. She's been very vocal about not going to war with Iran, about Americans not getting involved in Syria. She's been very anti-regime change wars. Do I think she's anti-war across the board? No, not really. If you look at her commentary, she's actually quite pro-bombing anyone who's quote-unquote Al-Qaeda or ISIS, and she has some very dodgy ties to some far-right authoritarian governments like the government of India's. But I'd love to chat and discuss and debate all this with Tulsi Gabbard. We've reached out to her, invited her on the show. She's declined our invitation. If that changes, you'll all be the first to know.